Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio, and today there's a little bit of a surprise, because it turns out that there have been new VMAXs. There is a Blaziken VMAX that has gone and been revealed in the recent issue of V-Jump magazine. Now, V-Jump magazine got on my radar and into my good books by giving away exclusive ported this magazine from Japan, because it's awesome. And today they're in my good books because they've with Blaziken V, and we have a little bit of a look at the basics here. We got 210 HP, which is about right for Pokemon V. Not terribly high, not terribly low. We got a retreat cost of 2, which means we have free retreat with Air Balloon, which is rather nice. We've got a weakness to water, which is honestly fine. Frostmoth decks are looking alright, but it's not a widely played type at the moment, so we're going to be okay. And being a fire Pokemon means you have all of those lovely tricks, most notably Welder, to accelerate energy to yourself, as well as things like Giant Half and Fire Crystal to go and get your energy from the deck or discard pile. Do please remember that this is going to be, it's in Matchless Fighters over in Japan. So that means it's going to be in our Sword and Shield 6 set over here, which, although subject to change, is probably going to, at least the information we've got, is going to come out on June the 18th, which is essentially 2 to 3 months before the rotation. Point is, yes, you've got good stuff like Welder, but these are the cards now where we start needing to think just a little bit post-rotation. But you are hitting weakness on metal Pokemon like Zacian, which is definitely going to be good post-rotation, as well as Grass Pokemon future, so you know what? Yeah, it's still a very good time to be a fire Pokemon. Now, the first attack here, 2 energy, 50 damage, don't need no translation here, though when we do need translations, they come from the lovely Antoine Boulet. We are Antoine Boulet fans. 2 energy, 50 damage, meh. Bearing in mind you are a basic Pokemon, so you can't use triple acceleration energy, and you're a Pokemon V, so you can't go using any twin energy here, and it's just a little bit underwhelming. It's fine, it's okay. The thing is, 50 damage, like, you'll get a Snom, so if those Frostmoth decks do see a bunch of play, in your face, Snom, but, you know, be nice to Snom. But actually, most of the time, it's not going to do it. If you're against something that's weak, the Jirachi from Team Up springs to mind, or post-rotation, the Jirachi Amazing Rare springs to mind, then yeah, you're doubling up to 100 and you're fine. But actually, 50 damage isn't really enough. Your average evolving basic nowadays is rocking 70 HP, and you're not doing enough. Especially weak basics like Snom, yeah. Pokemon that are weak like Jirachi, yeah. But you're not getting enough Pokemon here to make me particularly happy. I guess this, though the lovely Antoine Boulet, who I cannot say enough good things about, as you probably guessed by, generally have the MO of, hey, I've got lots of energy, but I'm going to discard some when I attack. It's why we've got Welder in the format at the moment. It's why we had Blacksmith before it. And at the moment, pre-rotation, I feel okay about this, but I don't feel great. You see, the sweet spot for fire Pokemon at the moment is free energy. Free energy means Welder, attachment for the turn, smash. That's where we're going here. As soon as we introduce a 4th energy, it gets a little bit awkward. Energy, and then turn 2, you attach a 2nd energy and Welder. That could work. Or maybe you hit heads on a Turbo Patch, and that would work, because this is a basic Pokemon, assuming you've got the energy in a discard. Quite good enough. It's a bit too awkward, I think is fair to say. I'm not loving having to put 4 energy on here. Now, 210 damage is good, incidentally. 210 damage, Pokemon V. And the chance to go second, attach energy, Welder, Turbo Patch, 1-hit KO on the majority of Pokemon V, yes! But the reality here is, I don't know how much I can recommend it because of the 4th energy. And you'll still get a 1-hit KO on a Zacian, and you've got free retreat, and you've got an attack, a good option for going first. So I'm probably going Talonflame over it. Similarly, we could take a look at Houndoom V here. Now, Houndoom, well, a lot of the time, it's going to be easier to get, say, a Spikemuth into play and either switch or retreat a fire Pokemon than it is going to be to get a fire energy into the discard and get a Turbo Patch and flip a heads. So you know what? I'd rather have Talonflame and I'd rather have Houndoom, and I'm not loving Blaziken V. But the good news is there is a VMAX, and the VMAX, I like it quite a bit more, ladies and gentlemen. I like it quite a bit more. Now, of course, we see a little bit of a jump here. We go up to 320 HP, which again is, honestly, it's kind of standard, but, you know, it's still a VMAX. That's still a hefty amount of HP. We then end up with a retreat cost of 2 like before, a weakness to water like before, and a fire typing just like we had before. But we end up with new Antoine here because, you know, Antoine's awesome. 1 fire energy, 60 damage. The defending Pokemon cannot retreat during your next turn. Now, we've talked about these kind of attacks a lot because we've seen a lot of Pokemon with these kind of attacks. But actually here, this works rather nicely indeed. Because firstly, you're doing 60 damage, so you will get a bunch of evolving Pokemon, etc. But also, if you're hitting for weakness, you know, let's take something like Zacian. All of a sudden, you're not hitting 60, you're hitting 120, which means you're 2-hit KOing, but they can't retreat in the meantime. So, I mean, they're not getting a 1-hit KO on you, but if you, say, use a boss's orders to bring up a Zacian with no energy on, your opponent essentially has right now, you get a KO, and you've only put 1 energy. Love it so much, 60 damage still isn't great, and I ain't going to go ahead and pretend it is, but it's still a decent amount of damage, and this is the kind of thing that can buy you turns. Let's say there's a Crobat. And again, you don't really want to 3-hit KO a Crobat. 3-hit KO in a Crobat is not really on your to-do list, so to speak. And then they can't retreat, so they've got to have a switching card. And if not, you hit it for 60 and they can't retreat, so they've got to have a switching card. And if not, you get 2 prizes. Not because they can't retreat. And that's why I like this more than your average do damage and stop them retreating attack. Because it's a 2-hit KO on a Zacian. Because it's a 3-hit KO on a Crobat. You are in a fairly small amount of turns getting key KOs on widely played Pokemon if your opponent's not able to get out the active. And that's kind of my point here, and that's why I like this so gosh darned much. But there's an even better attack than that. 2 colorless energy, 130 damage, and you attach an energy from your discard pile to each of up to 2 of your benched Rapid Strike Pokemon. And now I want to remind you at this stage how gosh darn reliable than literally anybody else we've been using. Although to be fair, David Hotman has been awesome at the whole translation stuff as well. So when Antoine says attach an energy, it means an energy. It doesn't mean a basic energy. So clearly we're thinking Rapid Strike energy here. Because you see, we haven't actually mentioned that we are a Rapid Strike Pokemon here. Maybe we should have mentioned earlier, but we're mentioning it now, alright? And Rapid Strike energy. Now, Rapid Strike energy here, it is 2 energy of either water or fighting. And I made this mistake before, so let's not make it now. Rapid Strike energy, I ain't making it again. It will pay fire and it will pay water. It will not pay fire energy. Okay. What that means is that when we're looking at this attack, the fact that it's colorless is awesome. Because you can pay this attack with a welder, or you can pay it with a Rapid Strike energy. And now you can accelerate a Rapid Strike energy to any of your benched Pokemon. And here's where it really gets good. You do not need to play Fire Energy to play Blaziken VMAX. You can, and you get access to the first attack, etc. But there is no requirement that you do so. So now, all of a sudden, that first attack on Blaziken can be paid with a single energy because it's just Rapid Strike energy 50 damage. Although, let's be perfectly clear, I have not changed my opinion on Blaziken V at all. I still don't think using one of your 4 Rapid Strike energy for the game on that is a good idea. But then again, Blaziken can accelerate, assuming the translation is correct, and I am assuming that it is, you can accelerate a Rapid Strike energy from your discard pile onto one of your Pokemon, so actually it stays. And we keep that Rapid Strike energy, and it can come back again and again and again. While we're talking Rapid Strike energy and flicking back to Blaziken V, do remember now that first attack can be used for a welder with 2 fire energy and a Rapid Strike energy. Turn 1, 210 is absolutely on the table. I still don't love it. I'd still rather use the other fire Pokemon we mentioned, but we didn't mention Rapid Strike energy then, so I suppose we should at least fill it up now. I still don't think that's a reason to play Blaziken V. I think trying to get Welder with 2 fire energy and a Rapid Strike energy when there's only 4 in your deck is asking for inconsistency, but it's there and it's possible, so you have been told. But I think the hook of Blaziken V Max is very simply, I can hit 130 damage for just a Rapid Strike energy, while accelerating energy, and presumably that will include Rapid Strike energy, from your discard. And actually, I don't see Blaziken V as a fire Pokemon going into a fire deck. I see it as a Rapid Strike Pokemon going into a Rapid Strike deck. If Welder goes away. If we look at Blaziken V Max as a Rapid Strike Pokemon that is just a fire type attacker in a deck that might be built around Urshifu Seas, I still don't think it is an absolute game-breaking card. I see it as a really nice tech in Rapid Strike decks. Although, as I've explained, you absolutely can play it. There is a lot to like about Blaziken V Max, and there are a bunch of ways to play it, and I, for one, am pretty gosh darn happy it's out here. But I want to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would ya? Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.